What's up? What's up? What's up, Cowboy fans? Welcome to the Cowboy Up podcast. Sorry for the technical difficulties, man. I swear to God, man. It don't matter if I'm in Texas, if I'm in Denver. It don't matter where I am. I'm always having some kind of technical difficulties. So I hope everybody can see us and hear us. So we could get this jumping. First of all, man, I'd like to introduce the co-host tonight, my man from the capital city. My man, allow me to butt in sports. My man, Rue. What's up, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Let's get it going.
Man, hey, hi, honey. My computer sucks. There's a wife in the comments, man. Hey, it is up, and my man. Is there no link? Yeah, we're working on technical difficulty, Ivan. I'm sorry, man. And the wife says she's working on the computer for me. God Almighty. I'm actually on this all in. It's not a. I guess you can just call it a tablet, because my iPad, my MacBook, dude, it's so slow. It's just junk.
It just wore out, man. It's been through enough.
It's just junk, man. It's junk. But man, hey, let's get started. We were supposed to have a guest, but I guess he backed out on us. But you know how it is, bro. We'll go from there, man. I know we were talking, Rue, before the show started, man, and we were really talking about Zeke. I threw on an old Zeke jersey just to talk about this today. when I say I throw on the old Zeke jersey, I was like, man, I think I got an old dude. This is old cooking. You know how you have jerseys and t-shirts that you cook with, stuff like that. And I'm actually in Texas, so I was like, I think I got one in the spare closet in the back, and that's when you got too much cowboy shit. You got things in spare closets. I was like, there it go, right there. There it is. So, man, it's been a rumor, bro, that the Cowboys and Zeke have actually been talking about a return to Dallas. Let me give you my thoughts real quick, Rue, and I'm gonna let you rock with it, okay?
Mm.
I know before we released Zeke, I was like, man, Zeke ain't got it no more. He ain't got it. His burst is not there anymore. The things we saw his first 3 years for the Cowboys is just not there anymore. And then as soon as we let Zeke go, and we didn't need the family wagon no more, we was just gonna do the sports car and Tony Pollard and everything like that. And we actually didn't get what we expected. Okay. So now they're in conversations. And the reason we didn't get what we expected is because literally on goal line situations, we didn't have anybody that could punch it in. We thought Hunter Lipke could do it. He had one opportunity in Miami, and we didn't see it anymore just because he fumbled the ball. So, man, what do you think about Zeke? Because to me, I'm all for it just because of stability and when we need that 1 yard. What do you think, brother?
I've been running through these running backs in this draft, just kind of running through them for size and everything else. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've watched tape on every single one because that just wouldn't be true. But man, this is just screaming of he's looking for a contract with somebody somewhere and just using us to get it. Mm-hmm. It just screams that to me. This whole reunion tour, and I get it, man. Zeke was a great player for us for the years that he was here, and he did his job last season. He got those few yards. He got the touchdowns in close yardage situations, and we loved him for it. It's like you're not worth $15 million, $10 million a year for it, but this is nice,
right?
But man, when I look at everything, I'm like, dude, come on. This is ridiculous. Like, we're really going to talk about bringing back Zeke at this point? I mean, league minimum, maybe, but like,
Mhm.
this is going backwards. You need to be looking at this in the draft. We need to be looking at Rico Dowdle to step up and move on. Hunter Lipke, well, obviously not Tony anymore, but Malik Davis. These guys that we have, it's and the truth be told, man. Look at this. In terms of what we could get second, third, fourth round, obviously there's rumors swirling about Jonathan Brooks. He's at 216. He can punch it in. Jalen Wright, Tennessee, 5'10, 210. He could punch it in. And he's got speed, 4.38 speed. Braylon Allen, 235. Probably can get him in the third round. Cowboys Corner was talking him up last week. And man, the dude's got the measurables for sure. 6'1, 235, 4.4 speed. I mean, and there's other guys too. And I'm not saying that this running back group is overly talented, because for me, like I told you before, I feel like Jonathan Brooks being at the top of this list, especially coming off an injury, is just crazy to me. It kind of tells me what I should expect out of this entire group. But to replace what Zeke did should be able to be done if you have a good play caller that understands the players that he has. And this is the NFL. That talent is not hard to replace at this level. It's just not. And I can't get on board with bringing back somebody just because of nostalgia's sake. Like, if he wants to come back and retire, cool.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? He wants to retire a Cowboy. Hey, that's what's up. But if we're really talking about bringing him back, for me, it's league minimum. And the fact is, we're still paying him in dead money.
Man, I was I, I'm just up in the air about this, bro. I really am. I was just like, I've been trying to get my head around it and everything like that. And I was like, how would this benefit the Cowboys if they had Zeke? Because last year, man, when we wasn't punching the ball in the end zone, everybody was super frustrated that the Cowboys couldn't get in the end zone, and everybody, and including myself, I was like, man, if Zeke was there, man, maybe we could punch it in. But like you said, for maybe nostalgia. But if okay, to me, if you bring him back and you draft the running back, are you gonna let the rookie play? Are you gonna let him play? Because then Zeke, he's still a veteran and he's still gonna want to get in the game. He's still want to run it. Is Zeke a person that you think that will sit on the sideline and wait his turn, or is he just one of those starting running backs, that dominant running back? What you think?
There's no way that I would want to draft a running back and take away from them just to get Zeke, whatever carries, unless it's 1 yard touches. And that's my whole point, is like, what are you bringing him back for? You should be drafting the replacement at this point, because and there's no guarantees that the rookie comes in and beats out Rico Dowdle. Like,
Right.
there's guys on this roster that can play at running back. I wouldn't want them for a 17-game season, but if I got what I got, that's all I got. But there's no guarantee the rookie comes in and takes it over. But from what we've seen from Zeke, is he an every down back still? Is he going to last 17 games?
I don't think so, Rue. That's the whole thing. If he was prime Zeke and for the number we want, yes. you know, but I don't know if we could do that. I really don't. I don't know. And I don't know what Zeke wants. Some people in their career, they'll be like, all right, man, I know my role, and my role is to do this or do that for the Cowboys. I don't think he knows his role right now. I really don't.
I don't know what he did off the top of my head. For the Patriots last season, he didn't beginning of the year. I know they were rotating him in and out. So he was averaging 3.5 yards a carry, down from the season before, from the 3.8 that he had with us. 642 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, He's been playing in this league. What is it? It's 8 years now. Yeah, he's playing in this league 8 years. That's ancient in running back in running back age. It just is. And it's no disrespect to Zeke. Zeke is an amazing player. Zeke was an amazing player. He could block, he could catch out of the backfield. He should have been rookie of the year. Like I don't care. Like Zeke was a phenomenal player. But it's just time, man. And we are relying so much on this draft to hit on so many different levels that I can't even entertain this as real, like as a real thing. I just feel like it's one of those situations where you'll hear about a free agent that's talking to Dallas, and before you know it, they're signing with the Dolphins or something. Like it's something random like that. That just it screams of that to me.
Right. Yeah, man. I agree, man, because I just, man, with me, I was such a Zeke lover, because I actually predicted it. I got video on Facebook, man. That's how long ago I did this. When he was at Ohio State and we had lost that last game of the season to the Skins. And I said, thank you, Skins, for giving us that number 3 pick, and we're gonna pick Ezekiel Elliott. And the Cowboys picked him. And you remember that rookie year, his rookie year, him and Dak Prescott, man. It was so exciting just because uh um the Cowboys the Cowboys did something that they always could do, should have been doing, was run the ball. So since the Cowboys have gotten away from running the ball, I know they put a stat out, man. That stat about when they have a running game and the difference between their running game and their passing game, how how he's a winning quarterback. I think he's only lost 3 games when the Cowboys have rushed for over 100 yards. That's a hell of a stat, you know. So our running game, it helps Dak. But when we don't have any kind of game, and I hate to harp on playoff games anymore, but you got to think about it, man. Remember in the playoffs, we didn't have no running game. We didn't have nothing, dude. We had nothing, and it was so frustrating, man. So I'm kind of with you, Rue. I don't know. Just because, man, I'm a fan, bro. I just don't know. I don't know. So all right. So Zeke is in talks. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys did bring him back, though. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it it wouldn't surprise
The thing
me,
is,
but
the way that they've been going with these contracts, if they do bring him back, I'm telling you, it's going to be league minimum. It's going to be something very small, 1 year, very small, at most 2. But I would think it's like a 1 year thing, small deal with incentives, something like that. Like that's the only thing I could see it happening. But even then, it's just like, why?
Mhm.
If it happens or it doesn't, I don't agree with it. I don't think it's wise to move backwards. I don't understand what the point of it is, unless he's truly just trying to, just kind of be a leader in the locker room, be an example, tell people like, because he's got a story. Zeke's got a story. Zeke's had stuff go on in his career where he could be a good like person to like, hey, I went through that hardship in my throughout my career, and like things happen to him. I mean, for everything from the Flash to the, he's had things go on where he's been under the gun and in the center of attention. But I can't justify making the move. Like to me, it's like the Trey Lance move. I can't
Mhm.
justify that one. Can't justify that one bit. Not when second round, not when backup quarterbacks are going for like 6th round picks. I can't justify that at all.
Right, right. Hey, man, they still, oh man, and I wanted to get into that too, bro. The Trey Lance thing, because when I was on the Cowboy Can Fan podcast, bro, and it was just people that was very upset that 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 we should just go ahead and get rid of Dak Prescott. And I was like, what? I don't understand this, man. They're willing to get rid of Dak Prescott to let Trey Lance become the quarterback. And I'm thinking to myself, Rue, okay, you know, me and you are proponents of Dak and everything like that. But I was like, are Cowboy fans prepared to go 5-12 for 3 seasons? Are they prepared for it? Because, you know, they want to get rid of their quarterback so bad, but are they really prepared for the outcome that's going to happen if they do that? I don't, you know, they say they are. I don't think they are. I don't. I mean, because dude, it's just the weirdest thing to me that how Cowboy fans could just do that. I mean, it's like, oh, don't worry, Trey Lance get us where we need to be. It's okay. It's okay if we're 5-12 one year and maybe 5-12 next year, but long as we don't have Dak. And I'm thinking you rather get rid of a top 10 quarterback and go 5-12 just so you can so-called improve your future. What do you think, man?
So there's a couple sides to this coin for me because it depends on the situation. I don't believe that Trey Lance is the answer. I don't think that that's the way that this team is going to head. I think the only way that Trey Lance gets into any game is if Dak Prescott either leaves the Cowboys or, you know, gets hurt. That's that's the only way I see Dak Prescott getting replaced. But I actually have a question for you, and I'm going to answer yours first.
Okay.
I do believe in Dak Prescott. I
Okay.
said what I said about Dak Prescott before the season, but the writing I feel like has been on the wall, and we've talked about it to death. And ultimately, the way I see it is like this right now. As we sit here today, the Cowboys next season will be looking at cap space like the Commanders had with everything that's gone on, right? And they've got contracts that they need to do. Parsons, Lamb, they have the pieces to bring in a quarterback if they so choose. Now, I say all that to say this. We have the 26th pick in the draft. If somehow, because this draft is very quarterback heavy, and it's one of those situations where, you know, a lot of people are looking at quarterback in the very top of this draft. But if somehow, say Michael Penix to 26, do you take him, sit him behind Dak for the year, part ways, and hope that you have the guy for the future, and then use the rest of your draft? Because I mean, there's a lot of linemen. There's a lot of different spots that you can pick up players at later on down the line. If you got a guy of that caliber that fell, like Aaron Rodgers fell, and I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just saying, if you got a guy like that where your quarterback is on his last year and it lights a fire under his ass, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to fall that deep. And I'm just curious, what are you doing in that situation?
Bro, this is tough for me because if that happens, just say that happens, okay? And at 24, Michael Penix is there. You got Trey Lance. Are the Cowboys organization prepared though? Are they prepared to go? I mean, because you never know what will actually occur with a rookie. You don't know if the rookie is going to come and be lights out. You don't know. So just say they do. They do draft him. Well, what are you going to do with draft? Are you going to trade him? Who could you trade him to for that cap number? So to answer your question, I mean, Dak Prescott. I mean, because you would have to trade him.
No, I'm saying you'd pick him up and you'd sit him for a year. You'd let Dak play out his contract. Okay. Absolutely.
Well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do with Trey Lance?
I'd get rid of him. Bye. See you later. Or Cooper Rush. See you later. Wow. Like, I don't care. You already you gave up what you gave up. Like, hopefully you get it back. But knowing them, they'll probably get a 7th or a 6th. Like, that's just the way it works, man. You pay 4, you give it up for 6. We're winning. We're the Cowboys. I don't care. I'm just saying, if a guy of that caliber, because there's some knocks on Penix. He's got the injury history. He's got the injury history. He's a lefty, which everybody, he's a lefty.
I don't understand. Steve Young was a lefty. He's a Hall of Famer.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care. This is the NFL. This is the NFL. You can adjust. You can adapt. I do not. I am a little. If you did bring him in, I would be a little worried that. I mean, Terrence is on that weak side then, so that's where it gets a little foggy. But you give him a year to sit. I mean, think about this. Is what organization drafts quarterbacks better than anybody else? It's the Packers. The Packers draft quarterbacks better than anybody. The Packers have historic quarterbacks all the way back to Bart Starr. And the fact is, there's something to be said about the fact that they've gone from Favre, 20 years, Super Bowl, to Rodgers, 20 years, Super Bowl, to now Jordan Love, who everybody loves right now. I'm not sold just yet, but everybody loves him. And I'll tell you what, he did play very good in those playoff games. So I'll give him that. But this is the model. If somebody falls of that caliber to you in the bottom of the first round, and you're already telling your quarterback, you got to show me something this year. I'm not extending nothing. I'm not doing nothing. You know, you're going to play out this contract. You're going to show me what you're going to do in January and February. And that's where it's at with Dak Prescott right now. That's really where it's at with him. And this could be one of those situations too, where Jerry just sits on his hands, waits, and ends up overpaying at the very end. That could easily happen. I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility. You know what I'm saying? He does what he does, another, 12, 11 win season, goes into the playoffs, knocked out in the divisional round, come back next year, record-breaking deal, baby. Let's go. I'm not saying that won't happen. It very well could.
Right.
But when you have somebody that falls to you in that spot, why not? Why not? It doesn't mean you have to leave Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott will start this year. If he does what he does, you just got a really good young backup. And yes, and I get it. First round pick, but most of y'all want him gone anyway. Just saying, like
that's for damn sure.
And it's unjustified. Sure. It really is unjustified. The man does his job. But there has been those moments where you're just looking at him and you're thinking he folds under pressure, but it's like, damn it, man, we're winning games though. We are winning games, and it's hard to win in this league. And the fact that they've done what they've done is a testament to how much he's grown as a player. But it's tough just because those playoff losses are pretty glaring, especially the recent history ones. It's right. Been pretty bad. That's what hurts more than anything. And that's why it's really hard to I want to defend him so bad, but I'm still so mad at him. I just am, man.
Why are you so mad at? I don't.
And the thing is, too, like if you look at it, like somebody pointed it out, right? Kansas City. Think about Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
They scored no points in the first half.
Right.
Their defense basically carried them throughout that game. The defense ended up winning them that game.
Mm-hmm.
And, Pat gets a lot of the credit. And I'm not saying nothing about Pat. Pat's the best quarterback we've seen in this league. It is what it is. He's probably the best player at quarterback I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anybody better than Pat. It's just, It is what it is. I can't say nothing about that. But damn it, he got bailed out a couple times by his defense, man. And he doesn't win that Super Bowl if that defense doesn't show up and show out like they did. And I understand that Dak Prescott had a very bad game in that Green Bay game, but damn it, the defense, this all-star, elite, superstar defense, just
don't remind me,
folded, just folded. Like they just didn't even show up. They never got out of bed. It's not like they had to go anywhere. But
don't remind me, bro.
We'll leave it alone.
No. Well, you all right. I'm trying to stay positive, man, on this Tuesday night.
But tell me, think about it. If you're the GM, just like you asked me last week, if you're the GM, you're in charge of making this draft pick. Right. Michael Penix is sitting there at 26. Are you passing him up for a lineman?
Yes. I hate to say it, Rue, yes, because I'm such a believer in Dak. I just think he get a bad rap, and I'm gonna pass him up because if I could get me a Travis Frederick in this draft, it helps Dak. So that's how I'm thinking about it. If I get Travis Frederick or I get me another Tyron Smith in this draft, because it'll help him. And the only other way is, say, if it was a stud linebacker, but we know there's no studs in the first round.
No.
So my best position to get the best player available that will immediately help your team is the offensive lineman. Immediately.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes you got to make those decisions when you do got a franchise quarterback. And I don't want people to get that confused. Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. If Dak Prescott is on the market today, it'll be 30 teams on the record trying to get him. The only 2 teams would try to get him is Kansas City and, of course, the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, that's how much, man, I value his play. And it's bad that we have to just focus on his playoff losses instead of his career. You know what I mean? And right now, that's the only thing Cowboy fans, especially the people who hate the Cowboys, can only focus on is his playoff record. Of course, I can admit it needs to improve. But as we know, football is never an individual sport. It's not. Even the great Patrick Mahomes got to have somebody to catch the damn ball too. You got to have somebody to block for him too. So right now, Rue, to answer your question, if it was me, I'm on the clock. Michael Penix is there, and my center from Oregon is there. My tackle from Alabama is there. I'm passing on quarterback because I got that proven commodity already. I'm passing. Now, we're in the second round.
That's a pipe dream. There ain't no way he's going that
I know
far.
it's pipe. I'm just dreaming. We doing what ifs anyway. We doing what ifs. So if we're in the second round and Michael Penix is sitting there, I'll be like, you know what? Man, I love you, Cooper. I love your little red hair, but you got to go. Because Michael Penix, man, he showed what he was built of. Like I saw him at Indiana, and people were sleeping on him at Indiana. But when he got hurt, everybody thought his career was over. The kid rehabbed his knee twice and then got back on top. So, I can't count that kid out, Rue. I can't. No. I can't, but I can't go just because I got Dak Prescott already. I want somebody to help him.
I don't know. All I know, when I watch that kid play, that kid's special, man. That kid wins. And he is special. I know y'all beat him in the championship, but he's my favorite one. I like him more than all the other quarterbacks. I'm on record. I do not care. Out of all these quarterbacks, everybody, like Drake Daniels. May and Bo Nix and Caleb Williams.
You don't like Daniels from LSU?
Jaden Daniels, I like his play. I like his style of play, especially because, like, I don't know. I like his style of play, and I like the way he plays. His size concerns me, but I have heard he's a pretty thick kid. So maybe, I don't know.
This is the only thing that bothers me about when you evaluate players, man. They always get stuck on measurables. To me, the film don't lie, because you're talking about Michael Penix, and on film, it don't lie at all, does it?
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
That kid can sling that rock, dude.
He was born to be a quarterback, bro.
He can fucking put it, and he can put it anywhere he wants. Like he can drop it in, he can throw it deep. Like the kid can play ball, man. The kid can play ball. I love his play. I'm not saying nothing bad. I mean, Jaden won the damn Heisman. Yeah, he's a great player. I like Penix over everybody.
Now, I know this is blasphemy coming from a Michigan fan. Michael Penix is better than J.J. McCarthy as a quarterback. J.J. McCarthy is a better athlete than Michael Penix. But as a quarterback that could drop it in the bucket and can throw balls like a professional quarterback, Michael Penix is that guy, you know. But it's based on the offense, because if Michael Penix gonna have to go to a team that's a pocket passing team, we got to, or a team like the Texans developed, you know, when they drafted C.J. Stroud, you know, they already had pieces around, man, that fit him perfect.
Think about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
This team next season is going to have more cap space than they are going to know what to do with. All these contracts are expiring.
Right.
Everything's about, and you have all the pieces that you could possibly need in order to set him up for exactly what Dak Prescott had throughout his first 3 years.
Okay. You
can set all that up with him at that spot, assuming he fell. And I tell you, I love the idea of it. I would not scoff at that deal at all. I would be actually very happy with it, because I mean, think about it. Aaron Rodgers was drafted while Brett Favre was still Brett Favre.
Yeah, you're right.
And then Love, Rodgers was coming off MVP. Yeah. I mean, when it's time, I just feel like if the writing's really on the wall, that's the decision they'll make. And there's already been swirling rumors about them taking a quarterback in like the second, which that's same kind of scenario for me. You're just going to sit him for a year and hope that we have a history of taking later round quarterbacks and making them our starters. Tony Romo was undrafted. Freaking Dak Prescott's a 4th round pick. It's kind of one of those situations where if you're going to do this, just do it, because what you're really doing with Dak Prescott right now is ridiculous. If they truly believed and they really wanted him and they really believed that he was just going to be able to take over this team or whatever, they would have extended him. It doesn't make sense that they would delay and wait for that price to go up. It just doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. So if the writing's really on the wall, just etch that fucking thing on there then.
Wow. All right, man. So my question. Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What's happening, Chris?
Hey, man. Glad you can join us, brother. You got to excuse our technical difficulties, man. I'm having trouble. My computer sucks tonight, Chris. Chris, hey, man, I got a question for you, man. We've been talking about the number 24 pick, and we've been talking about hypotheticals, okay? And Rue brought up a hypothetical. Okay. At 24, if Michael Penix is there, would you consider drafting Michael Penix in the first round?
No, absolutely not. And here's the thing. I do get where people are coming from. Well, you want to make sure that you have a quarterback in place for if Dak Prescott isn't the quarterback. My problem is I don't think Michael Penix is the quarterback people should want. Like, the NFL is a league where 80% of the plays are off schedule, and Michael Penix is a guy who struggles to make plays off schedule. You know, that is my biggest worry about him as a prospect. He's a bit older. He's had an injury history. He's played in an offense with some of the best weapons in college football behind one of the best offensive lines in football. He's not going to walk into a situation like that, even in Dallas with the pieces that they have. They're not the best offensive line in football. They don't have the best weapons in football. I do not believe that Michael Penix is going to be nearly close to the quarterback that Dak Prescott is in the NFL, which is why, to me, look, I understand where people are coming from when they say, you know, that they're skeptical about the Cowboys keeping Dak because of what's going on with the contract negotiations. This is the Jones family, okay? They are a very, they are unpredictable.
That's true.
They don't, when it comes to contract negotiations, they're not a shrewd front office. They get taken to the, when it comes to contract negotiations.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know you're good. When it comes to contract negotiations, this is a front office that usually loses negotiations because of how poorly they time things. And I think that's what's going to happen here. They're not going to move on from Dak. I cannot see it because Dak Prescott is a quarterback who is a volume passer. He's a guy that puts up a lot of points on the scoreboard. He makes this team an exciting football team. And I don't think that Jerry, at this stage of his life, wants to restart with a quarterback that isn't guaranteed to be as good as Dak. Not only that, he puts behinds in seats because of how exciting the team is with him as a quarterback. Look, everybody wants to find Mahomes and Allen, and I just say to them, like, okay, you want to go trade for those guys? You think their teams are going to trade them? Okay, so if you're not going to be able to find one of those guys, you kind of just have to settle with what you got and try and build a complete roster around them. I mean, it's a tough situation for every team in the NFL, not named Kansas City.
I know. So, hey man, I'm with you because I'm a Dak man. Dak is I was the biggest Tony Romo fan in the world. Okay, and I remember when Tony was here. Man, people dogged out Tony like he was the worst quarterback ever. And as soon as Tony left, who was the greatest quarterback ever played for the Cowboys?
Tony
Romo. So, I mean, really, you think about it. We've been Cowboy fans a long time, and y'all know how much they dog Tony. They dog Tony. And I told anybody, I said, if Tony Romo had an ounce of a defense when he was here, he would have won a Super Bowl. Okay? But it never happened. No problem. Tony got hurt. His career was over. We know how that goes. Okay? So now we were also talking about Zeke, Chris. So what's your opinion on the Zeke talks back to Dallas? Because me and Rue basically like up in the air, like we really don't know how that would benefit the Cowboys. Do you think it would benefit the Cowboys?
To be honest with you, no, I don't. I really don't think it would. And the reason why is because how there's that meme over social media with the Cowboys where like when they're involved in a big player, if fans want a certain big player, they have that meme of the Jones family saying, we have this player at home. They have Ezekiel Elliott at home with what he provides for your team right now. Hunter Lipke is everything that Ezekiel Elliott would give you. He's just younger and he's cheaper. What would you use Zeke for in this offense? Would it be for him to get downhill, be a short yardage type of back? Hunter Lipke can do that. Catch passes out of the backfield. Hunter Lipke can do that. To me, it's not necessarily a solution to what the Cowboys have as a problem in their running back room, right? Mm-hmm. I think the way they should do it is just address it in the draft. Go out there and get a Jonathan Brooks or a Trey Benson. Your room is pretty good as it is. Like if you go and get one of those guys, because I'm sorry, let's just say, for example, you add a Jonathan Brooks, which is from all reports, most likely going to be the pick at 56 if he's available, which I anticipate him to be available. Okay. So if your room is Brooks, Dowdle, Lipke, and Deuce Vaughn, like what doesn't that room do well? It's a versatile running back room. Like when it comes to running the football for the Cowboys, it's got to start with the head coach being better at scheming things up. And there's certain parts of the offensive line that has to be a little better, right? Like you got to get better play from your center. I mean, you just do. So, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm in the film room all off season and I'm asking myself two questions, right? How do I get this run scheme better? And how do I get Brandon Cooks more involved in this offense? We'll save the second one for another time, but Mike McCarthy needs to look at the game tape from 2022 and some of their successful runs and see what they did well. Stop being so damn stubborn and not being able to steal a little bit from Kellen Moore, then I'd go look at Miami, Detroit, San Francisco, some of these run schemes that are very effective, and I would take some plays from those offenses. In my personal opinion, I just think that's the way to go about it. I don't think this is a personnel. I didn't think it was a personnel problem last year. They had every type of running back you had on that roster, and they just didn't use them.
Okay. Well, look, I have this question. I had it up earlier, but we didn't get to it. Are the Cowboys prepared at number one, and who they want? I mean, because they've been kind of hush hush. Kind of last year they kind of hinted at what they were going to do. Last year, do you have Rue? Do you know where the Cowboys are going? What direction they're going? I mean, because to me it's obvious is offensive line, but you know how the Cowboys, they like to pull fast ones sometimes. So who would you go? I mean, who do you? Well, not who would you go? Who do you think that the Cowboys are going after at this 24 pick if they don't trade out of it?
That's interesting. It's real interesting. Can I not hear you?
I can't hear you, Rue.
Yeah, that's why I made the joke there.
I still can't. You're like it's a mute button. Hold on, let me make sure you're not muted. I didn't mute you. I can slightly come up a little bit more.
Hold on. I bet I know what happened. Go to Chris.
All right, Chris, go ahead. Chris, do you think the Cowboys know where they're going at 24?
I think that it's probably going to be offensive line unless somebody falls in them, right? Like to me, if Latu, the edge from UCLA is there, I get like people may not think edge is a need, and it's not per se because you do have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, but I would say that linebacker is a need. And if you add Latu, now you can play Micah Parsons a little more at linebacker and solve a few problems there. This to me he's one of the most mature pass rushers that you're going to see from a draft pick. I think that day one he could come in and make an immediate impact. But, will he be there? I'm not sure. But I do think that it's probably going to be an offensive lineman. To me, my top guy would be Graham Barton from Duke. Jackson Powers Johnson would have been my top guy, but apparently he's dealing with medical issues. And, obviously you're going to have to take a look at some of these tackles, Tyler Guyton, Amarius Mims, one of those guys, Jordan Morgan. So I do think that they're probably looking offensive line, but I also don't rule out them picking a really good prospect if one of them falls to them and they go BPA in this draft.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking I've been seeing a lot of mocks. The kid from Duke is falling to him, but that was the first time I've seen him fall to him. I've really just been focused on the center from Oregon a lot. But what are the health issues, man, that this kid is having now? Because I hadn't heard anything yet, man.
They're saying that he's having some problems with his hips.
Oh,
yeah.
You playing
Ouch.
center, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's where I get a little bit of cause to pause there because, like, look, if you can pick up a center in this draft, and again, I'm just going by the reports. Jonathan Brooks is the pick at 56. I mean, like, to me, I'm not somebody that looks at, we added a big name, we're going to be better because we got that big name. No, how does that big name fit into what we want to do? Let's just say offensively, if they were to go pick up a big name on offense, how do they fit what we want to do? Do they improve what we were maybe inefficient at last year, or do they kind of just improve what we were good at? So if they add a center, and a running back. I think that those are good additions to your football team because last year the Cowboys did not do a good enough job running the football. Like they just didn't. The Green Bay Packers were one of the worst run defenses in football, and the Cowboys couldn't run the football on them in the playoff game. That to me was a little bit shocking because one of the things that I had in mind going into that game was, hey, let's take advantage of the fact that they can't necessarily defend the run that well. And let's try and, cool some things down for this football team. But the problem is they couldn't run the ball. But if you go out there and maybe if you get better personnel at two positions that are very important to your run game, right, your center and your running back, maybe you'd be able to run the football a little more effectively. And like Jonathan Brooks, like I get the ACL tear is a thing. I mean, this guy could be a very special player in this league. Like I really think that. And he's at an age where, like, yeah, he tore his ACL. It's the only injury concern that he's ever had over the course of his entire football career. And I just look at the potential of this guy and I say, he kind of, I'm not saying that he is this guy, but there's a little bit of McCaffrey in him to where, all right, he's a guy who runs the football, a multifaceted runner of the football that can also, provide some things from a receiving perspective. So, that's probably the way I would look at it. Hey, go get a center in the first round and then go get a running back in the second.
Okay. Now, Rue, I'm gonna come back to you about Brooks from Texas, but I gotta address this. This is just gonna be a shot at Chris. You sure you don't want Blake Corum in this backfield because he rushed 30 straight times against Penn
So
State.
here's my thing when it comes to Blake Corum. Here's my problem when it comes to Blake Corum. There's a lot of carries that he tallied up at the University of Michigan. And I have real questions about that coming into the NFL because, Jonathan Brooks is a guy, I think he's going to turn 21 after the draft. So he's 20 years old right now. So like with Blake Corum, I think he's 22 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And look, running backs, they're in their prime from the ages of 21 to 27-ish, but you can kind of extend that prime a little bit if they didn't get too beat up in college. Like we saw that with Ezekiel Elliott, right? Ezekiel Elliott got beat up in college. Like he had a lot of carries on his body in college, and then he got in the NFL. And, obviously his prime was great, but it was a short prime. And that's one thing I worry about when it comes to Blake Corum.
As a Michigan fan that see this kid run every Saturday, to me, I think he got a lot left in the tank. But that's just my opinion. But Rue, let's go back to the Texas kid. You've seen him play. You're there in Austin. You go to a lot of Texas games. What do you think about him?
I think that the minute he left this offense, we saw a completely different Texas team for a couple weeks. It took them some time to adjust without Jonathan Brooks in the backfield. Jonathan Brooks was a stout runner for for our offense, and it was definitely he's definitely a difference maker for sure. He's got breakaway speed. He's a big guy. He has all the intangibles, and everything that Chris said is true. I mean, if you're going to compare him to anybody, I mean, can't say that he's him. There's really nobody else on this planet like that dude. But CMC is not an unfair comparison just because of how he can play and what he's able to do. Mm-hmm. Will he be that? Yeah, to be seen. And that's just the way the NFL works. But if you're going to compare him to somebody like that, I don't see how you couldn't be justified by it just because he does do all of that and more. I mean, he can block, he can pass, or I mean, he can catch, he can he can do some things for your offense where he can take over a complete ball game, and he can be that guy. And the best thing about him too, you can bring him in and out. I mean, Texas is known for their running backs. He can go in and out. He can be, he can run with somebody like Dowdle. Dowdle see somebody else take some carries. He's not like a selfish player. He's definitely one of those guys that would be good for the locker room as well. When it comes to that first round pick, man, I feel like they're going to do what nobody expects them to do because that's what they've done for the last 2 years. Nobody expected Tyler Smith. Nobody expected Mozzie. I mean, it just happened. And I think that's what you can expect from the Dallas Cowboys is they're going to do something that might be a little off the wall, might throw you for a loop. The biggest thing was my thing was I was looking at all the linemen. I was like, where are these small school dudes at? I was like, where are they at? I was like, where are the small school dudes at? Where's that weird one? Where's that weird one that not a lot of people are talking about? That's like kind of in the middle of the pack.
Northern Iowa.
Right? Like it's gonna be something like that, right? And then and I need to find out where he'd be looking at, but I think he'd be hovering around that 24 number where we'd be picking. But Olu Fashanu
from State.
That kid is 21. He's 21 years old. He's got a lot of intangibles though. Big dude, and came out of Penn State. I mean, it's one of those deals where I could see them taking somebody off the wall like that. I could see them taking somebody who
he'll be the pick if he's available. He'll be the pick. No doubt.
I wouldn't. Well, because
100%.
Think about it. It's like Tyron Smith all over again. Kid's 21.
Yeah.
Like and he's got the measurables, man. Like he's a big kid. He's a good player.
The problem is unless it's a Laramie Tunsil situation, I cannot see him fall into 24. That would be a very steep fall for him.
You especially
think so? Oh yeah. I mean, look,
I've seen late to early second round for him.
I don't think there's a world where he gets past 16 in my personal opinion. I just don't see it happening. And I don't want the Cowboys to trade up this draft just because, I said this during the picks. I said this during the
we need everything there.
I said this during the Trey Lance trade. There was no reason to trade for him. I still to this day hate that trade because teams were not offering up more than a 5th round pick for Trey Lance. They overpaid for him. And everybody liked it because, what can we get out of this guy? Well, we didn't get anything. And this is the last year of his contract. So, all right, he might be a backup this year. I just don't see the Cowboys turning a profit on that trade. So, we look back on that and I just say, man, I would rather have a 4th round pick than Trey Lance, and that's no disrespect to the guy. I mean, I think that he can maybe develop into something, but it's like we had a quarterback and now we don't have a 4th round pick. And, with this all-in approach that they, said that they had, quote unquote, when it comes to especially with the draft, right? They lost a lot of starters on their team. I just don't understand it because it's like, all right, so you lost a bunch of starters on your team and now you don't have another pick to replace that. I don't know. I was never a big fan of it as well because they spent a lot of draft capital from this year, last year. They spent, I think one of the picks that they used for Brandon Cooks was from this year's draft. They used a 5th round pick from this year to go get Eric Scott, so I hate that trade. Still hate that trade to this day.
Well, and what's worse, just to rub salt in the wound, man, we had needs.
Yeah.
We had needs. You could have gave up a 4th for a linebacker somewhere.
Yes.
Come on now. We had need. You didn't even need. The man never said. I don't even know if you made it on the practice squad. Damn. Come on. We had needs. And you go get Trey Lance. It made no freaking sense.
Yeah. I really despise the way when Jerry and Steven are making decisions. It's this organization is a bottom barrel organization. And the reason why I say that is because Will McClay is the reason why this football team's really good. Because they put a lot of pressure on the scouting department. They got to hit on these picks. And I get it with the 2023 draft. And I'm not making any excuse for him. That was a bad draft. But I do think, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. We will, because look.
It's not over yet.
If TJ Bass becomes a starter in this league, Like if he becomes a good starter and DeMarvion Overshown becomes what we think he can be, I mean, like that's two players from a draft class that ended up being, you know, key contributors for your football team. Like I don't know. I think that's not awful, you know, but they put a lot of pressure on the scouting department. And to be honest with you, like they've delivered the goods. I mean, 5 All-Pros since 2020 is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing. And you got 2 All-Pros from the 2022 class, which is incredible because this is their second year and they already got All-Pros with Deron Bland and Tyler Smith. They do a really good job in undrafted free agency. They picked up a lot of guys. Wanye Thomas, Marquise Bell, Terrence Steele. I know Terrence Steele had a rough season, but there's a reason why he got paid the money that he got paid, because he did show some real potential at right tackle. So that's something where, again, it's not decisions that Steven and Jerry are making other than, hey, yeah, that's fine. Let's offer this guy a few extra $100,000. But when they have to make decisions like negotiating, trades, they usually get pantsed in those departments. I mean, I cannot get over the fact that you haven't extended either Dak, CD, or Micah Parsons. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that these guys want to reset the market and the Cowboys aren't interested in players resetting the market.
Man, you brought up something, Chris. I want your opinion. I know you got to go because you had something else to do. But I want to ask you this before you get out of here, Chris. Cowboy Corner brought up something to us a couple shows ago about he's not optimistic about Overshown coming back because of the track record of the Cowboys medical staff being graded out as a D overall in the NFL because of whatever the reason why they're graded as a D. Do you have any concerns about Overshown and Diggs coming back healthy this year?
And our history with that particular injury.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? Like you have to be concerned about it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, guys coming off those injuries, you absolutely have to be concerned about it. I do think that when it came to Terrence Steele, I don't think the reason why he struggled this year was because of the ACL. I really don't. Like, I think that they tried some things differently with Terrence Steele. I know Duke Manyweather said that they went more to like a high hand, low hand technique. And that's not really what Terrence Steele does. He's more of like, all right, strike, get my hands on you type of deal. He's not a high hand, low hand type of guy. I think that's what happened there with Terrence Steele. I think with Michael Gallup, this was a guy who, I mean, look, I don't want to get, too into the weeds of psychology and stuff like, but I think that there is a certain attitude you have to have when you're coming back from an injury like that. And I don't think he had that. Like what I mean by that is, like, you heard in interviews, he was saying, I'm just happy to be here. And I don't like that mentality. Like, no, I have to show why I'm here. Not I'm happy to be here. I have to show why I'm here. And, like when it came to the ACL with Michael Gallup, you saw at times over the past few seasons where it's like, I don't know, man, you could have ran a better route there. And I think a lot of that has to do with that injury. So I think Michael Gallup to me is the blinking red light when it comes to this team and that injury. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll have to see with DeMarvion Overshown. I mean, we really will. Which is why, the Cowboys put themselves in a bad spot here, because they need a running back, a center, a linebacker, and, they got other positions that they need to get, but those are the 3 most pressing ones. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe Peyton Wilson. Yeah. Maybe Peyton Wilson is there in the 3rd round because of his medicals. Maybe teams are a little scared by that. But, I mean,
I just don't want nobody hurt again, Chris. It drives me crazy that the Cowboys draft hurt players.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I just don't want anybody hurt no more.
They're always looking for the deal, man. Bargain bin.
I know, man, but it always seems, Chris, it always seems to come back and bite us in the ass too, we thought we had the linebackers of the generations when we had Smith and the Wolf Hunter, and neither one of them are on the team anymore, bro.
I know.
Because they were both hurt when we drafted them. Okay, so that's why I was like, I don't want no more hurt players. I don't want the damn deal. Give me that proven guy that I know is going to be on the field every week. That's what I want.
And what I'll say is before I head out here, if you want to get a top flight linebacker, Fred Warner level type of linebacker, you got to draft those guys. Because when teams get a guy like that, or even guys around that type of caliber, they hang on to those guys. Like, you're not going to find, for example, like Patrick Queen. He's a good linebacker, but there's a reason why, Baltimore had to trade for Roquan Smith, because they didn't love the production they were getting out of that position. So if you want to go get one of these guys, you have to wait for like a Roquan type of situation, or you got to go draft a guy. And
I'm not saying unless you're the Bears will give up linebackers left and right. They do not care.
I mean, look, I am optimistic for Overshown. I really am. I like what he's made of. I think he's got a real chip on his shoulder, and he plays the game at linebacker the way you're supposed to do, which is get downhill, fill a gap, and make sure that you're the one going forward, not the running back. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. No doubt about it.
Young kid.
Well, everybody, man, thanks for Cowboy Beat. Bro, give everybody your social media, man. Once again, if y'all don't follow him, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because my man is from the Philadelphia area, and he hates the damn Eagles just as much as we do. Chris, give him your social medias.
I probably hate him more than you guys do. So I'm Cowboys Beat on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and Twitter or X, whatever it is, X. Yeah. So if you want to see me going at some Eagles fans, definitely make sure to follow me on X, because you will find me doing that quite often.
Chris, once again, man, I always love your knowledge, man. Appreciate you jumping up on the Cowboy Huddle, man. Thanks again, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, man. Have a good one, brother. Later.
Shit.
All right, man. Hey, we got Ivan. He got something to say. Ivan said, "Chris,
hey guys,
Ivan got something."
Hi guys.
What's up?
I've been talking sneaky today.
You've been talking to Sneaky today?
Yeah. I've been talking Sneaky.
Why you been abusing Sneaky G?
Because I don't like the Giants.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason. He justified it.
So just for that, Ivan, keep messing with him.
Okay. Good.
Hey, Ivan. Now I know we've talked about the running backs and everything. You've been been listening to the show, the whole show. So what's your opinion, Ivan?
The running back from Tennessee.
We got like maybe 5-10 minutes left in the show,
okay.
But I want your opinion. Who do you want? Do you want Zeke to return, or do you want us to draft the running back, man? What do you think?
That running back from Tennessee.
You want the running back from Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Trey Benson.
Or Trey Benson. Okay.
Jalen Wright. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So you want the rookie? Okay. You don't want to go backwards to the 21. You want to just keep moving
I'll
forward.
save him for short yardage.
Okay.
But
so basically,
goal line.
So what you're saying? If we bring back Zeke got to have a role. He's not the starting running back basically.
How do rookie start?
I want the rookie. All right. Well,
but that fullback sucks. He fumbled from the 1 yard line. I got pissed off.
Oh, you mean Hunter Lemke?
Yes.
When he fumbled.
Yes.
Hey, Rue. This Cowboy fans ain't letting that fumble go, and that was it.
No, they're not. And you know what though,
we should have won that game.
Yeah, no, I hated that too. But damn, man, like
I thought he should have got another opportunity.
I don't think you should have just taken him out of the game after that. Like It was working.
Yeah,
he took us down there, man. Like he fumbled, but Put him back in the
That
game,
that
rub
was
some
the
dirt
one
on it,
that
and
cost
go.
us the game.
I don't think that cost us the game.
No, that was too early. It's too
It,
early
it
for
was
that to
it
be
was
the
a
reason
lot
we
of things,
lost.
Ivan, in that Dolphin game cost us. But think about it.
Still been 14-3, Chris.
Well, no, but you got to think about it like this, though, Ivan. We did come back and score in that game, and we had the lead, and then Miami marched straight down the field like it was nothing.
Chris, you know what we should do? Draft a linebacker in the first round.
Well, I don't think there's one that's at that
Adrian
value
Cooper
at 24.
from Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah, the big kid from Texas. Oh, yeah, he is a beast. But I think wasn't he rated Rue in the second round? I thought he was a second round kid.
What
The
position? I
linebacker
didn't
from
hear?
A&M, the big
There's
kid.
not going to be any first round linebackers in this
I don't
draft.
think so this year either.
No.
No first round linebackers. I don't think there's no
Next
first
year?
round running backs. Yeah, this year, man, everybody in the first round is wide receivers, quarterbacks, and
Or Jackson
defensive
Power
ends.
Johnson.
Who again, Ivan?
Jackson Powers Johnson. If he's there, take him.
Take him. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is a consideration. But say, hey man, first of all, hey Ivan, do you got your social media links, man? Give everybody your social medias, man, so we can follow you.
Yeah.
I know I already do.
TikTok Michael Parsons.
Okay.
TikTok Michael Parsons, and that's it.
And that's
Michael
the only one you got
Parsons.
is the
Okay.
Michael Parsons one?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Hey, bro, man, once again, man, thank you for being so loyal. I know, man, you
Welcome.
comment every week, man, and we really appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in
We do.
to the Cowboy podcast. And we'll check you next week, okay? Me and Rue gonna take it to the house. All right, brother?
Oh wow! So
Ivan Sosa.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
bye.
All right, Rue. Man, I'm so upset about my technical difficulties, man. I had a little video too.
Oh no, we missed the video, dog.
Bro, and I'm just sick, man. I am sick. Dude, everything was working fine until 2 minutes for the show start, bro.
You know what killed me, man? I really wonder if I would have just got out and got back in like I did, if it would have worked on the other one now too. Like I messed that up for you.
I'm just emotional about it, man. But like always, man, we got final thoughts, man. About this, man. Let me go with my final thoughts first, and you can end it, Brew. Okay, man. To me, once again, the Cowboys front office, man, is just proving to me that they're just taking this all season off. It's just, man, it's things that could be done, moves that could be made to improve the team, and I really believe that the Cowboys are going to wait to after the draft, and they're going to wait to those June 1st cuts to do anything to improve because they're looking for deals. And it's just, to me, not becoming of the Cowboys, because my thing is, man, we're an elite team. We're an elite franchise. We got more money than anybody. We're supposed to have that gunslinger owner, and basically we're just sitting around and, like Mikey say, shopping at great value. I don't want to shop at great value no more. I want a value. So that's my final thoughts on these Cowboys. Rue, give me your final thoughts before we get out of here, brother.
Man, I think the biggest thing for me is I think that writing has been on the wall this entire off season. Shit or get off the pot, man. Stop playing with this man. Stop playing with this man, because Dak Prescott deserves better than that. And that's really the truth. Dak Prescott deserves better than what he's been getting from the Cowboys. They waited for the first time to extend him after they got him for all that discounted money for all that time, doing whatever he was doing. And now you're stringing him along again, and you're setting yourself up for having all this cap space, brand new coach, brand new thing. Oh, because I mean, it's for McCarthy too. It's not just Dak. This team feels like it's on the verge of the reset button, and it scares me because I feel like that's what the writing is on the wall. I feel like they're just one step away from that reset button. And like, get on board and embrace it, or see if Dak can prove everybody wrong and shut everybody up and get to the NFC Championship game, because I think that's the bar that they've set for him.
Right.
They're telling him, if we're going to pay you top dollar money for that position in this league, you're going to have to get to that game. Otherwise, you're looking at Kirk Cousins' money, and that's what it's going to be for him.
Right.
And maybe that's the realization he himself needs to come to, because I don't know if somebody else is going to reset the market for him to play quarterback for them.
Right.
I really don't. And this is going to be that year for him to either get that or, get on with something else. And that's what it feels like is happening.
Well, once again, guys, I think we should be at full strength next week. Mikey's working, and of course, 21 had to cover some late shifts these last couple of weeks, but he'll be back definitely next week. And all four of us will be here to cover up a podcast. Man, everybody who's still here, man, if you do us a favor and like the video, I don't even care if you share it, just like it, because it brings people to the algorithm. Also, we are going to try to do a mock draft as soon as I get my computer situation situated. Also, you need to follow my man Rue on TikTok and Allow Me to Butt In Sports on TikTok. You can follow me also, Dallas Cowboy Chris, on TikTok. And hey, man, we'll see y'all next week. Dallas Cowboys for life. Peace.